What is happening, my YT gang? Y'all already know what time it is. We are back with another one. And today we got a good one because it's a whole big talk going on right now about Notre Dame and my very own Georgia Bulldogs. My boy RC and Cam Newton had a whole back and forth about this on First Take earlier, and I got the footage for it. But before I get into that, I just want to state my claim. You get what I'm saying? Just let me defend my team for a second. Now, if you ask me who I feel like have more to prove in this whole situation, it would definitely be Notre Dame. Georgia is used to this. All right, this is not our first rodeo. You know, we've been on the big stage multiple times when it comes to the playoffs. And we've been undefeated when it comes to the playoffs until we get to the national championship. So we know what it takes to win to get to the national championship. You get what I'm saying? So that is one up we got on Notre Dame. And that's the reason why I feel like we will come out victorious on Wednesday night. And I know it's a lot of people out here talking about Georgia not going to win because of the fact that Carson Beck is out for the rest of the season, going on the surgery, which I want to say, man, I hope that you get a good recovery. I hope it's a fast recovery at that. And then I hope you go on to the NFL and be the best version of yourself you can be. Now, I wanted to say all of that before I get into this whole conversation about Carson Beck. We all know that Carson Beck is a very good quarterback. We all know that. We seen that, right? But let's be honest. My boy, he ain't have a good season this year. He struggled. We all saw it. I ain't the only one with eyes. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have a good season this year. Point blank period. But we can't put it all on my boy Carson Beck. We all know when it comes to some of those interceptions that he were throwing and all of that good stuff, man, it was a lot of balls that were not being caught by the receivers, in which I think this is one of the worst receiving sets I've ever seen in my entire life when it comes to Georgia. So it's safe to say that the set of receivers that he have on his team right now is a part of the blame of why he's not playing very well. When you look at Carson Beck last year, he did phenomenal. Why? Because he did have that deep ball threat. He had playmakers on the receiver set to be able to make those big plays for him. So losing an explosive player like my boy Brock Bowers and my boy McConkey, it could make a difference on how excellent you go out there and play on the field. So when people are talking about Carson Beck on that perspective, I'm not too concerned about it. You know what I'm saying? Considering the fact that we do have Kirby Smart as a head coach, I feel more confident with him coaching on our sidelines, being the fact that he knows what it takes to win. But then I also heard people talking about how it's a big difference between Carson Beck being on the field because the team, the locker room, rallied themselves around Carson Beck. So did anybody not watch the SEC championship? Did anybody not see how that team rallied around my boy Gunnar Stockton in the second half when he came out and made his debut? Did anybody not witness that? Did anybody not see how the fans cheered him on and rooted him on and rallied him up? Did anybody not see how they built his confidence? And correct me if I'm wrong, but we went in the half down by 3 points. We was losing 6-3. And then my boy Gunnar came out and led us to victory. Came back and won in overtime. And the thing about it is Gunnar did it in one of the biggest stages you can be on when it comes to college football. He brought us back and won in the SEC championship against a very good Texas Longhorn team, against a very good defense. And I know it wasn't by much, but Gunnar had more passing yards than Carson Beck. And I do understand this is the very first game that he will be playing, and it's on a very big stage. But looking at the SEC championship, he's already been on that big stage. Yes, I understand that this is a big moment. And yes, I understand that we lost our best quarterback option. But this is the time to rally around the future of this organization. And when I look at a team like Notre Dame, I do feel like they deserve to be where they are right now. They deserve to be in the playoffs. I think they're number 6 overall when it comes to total defense. I think they're 7th when it comes to passing yards allowed. But what I do know for sure is that they struggle when it comes to passing yards allowed, in which I think they're ranked 23rd, if I'm not mistaken. So when I look at these stats, yeah, they're good and all. I can respect that. But my question would be, who did they play for me to give them that respect? So I really don't understand why everybody's saying that Notre Dame is definitely going to win this game. But let's go ahead and take it over to the first take and see what my boy RC and my boy Cam Newton had to say about the whole situation. Let ride.
He getting ready, y'all, but I'm going to say a daddy ball over there. That's who got the most to prove. Notre Dame, Rudy, Notre Dame. And I asked him offline, I said, bro, if Georgia loses to Notre Dame, does that really count? So I said, RC, I'm going off you, bro. Now, I done made your bed, and I try to give you good hospitality. But your Notre Dame Fighting Illini. Oh, no.
Irish.
Fighting Illini.
Yeah, it's okay.
Fighting Irish. Have to prove. Because, respectfully, this is not basketball. This is not, March Madness where we see upsets left and right. This is football. Well, you will find out sooner rather than later if you belong or not. And I'm just saying, I don't think Notre Dame belongs, but...
So you don't think that Notre Dame belongs in the top 8 teams left playing football?
No.
So tell me who does. Alabama, that's a 3-loss team that lost to Vanderbilt?
Yes.
That's the team you want to play?
Yes.
Oh, how about Ole Miss that lost to Florida? Right? Tennessee got in because we're talking, big SEC. They got mud stomped, right? And that was the team that was better than the other teams from the SEC that didn't get in. Now listen to me. I'm not saying that Georgia doesn't belong because Georgia belongs. I'm not saying that Texas doesn't belong because Texas belongs. But if you're going to tell me out of the top 8 teams, Notre Dame shouldn't be playing, then you out your mind. And it was evidenced by them dog walking Indiana.
Who?
Indiana.
Well, he doesn't have respect for them either. He doesn't have respect for them
Indiana.
either.
And listen, and I told you this the day we talked about it the first time.
Talk to me.
Right? Unlike any other year, when we get to the final 4 teams, you're gonna have the right 4 teams because they're gonna have to earn their way there. Right? Now, we may sit up here next week and it may be Friday, and I may be sitting here all sad with my lip poked out because my son's college career is over, and I might have to say, you know what? Georgia was the better team. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish do not belong in the Final 4, but they belong in the Final 8 because they won their way to the Final 8.
Yeah, I'm so tired of those narratives. After the first round, and we're watching some of these teams that we assumed would get boat race, and everyone's like, oh my God, it's happening against TCU all over again. Everyone seems to forget TCU beat Michigan.
They beat Michigan.
Like they didn't just cakewalk it. They weren't handed a national championship, obviously. They ran into a buzzsaw that was Georgia. But yes, does Notre Dame deserve to be in the top 8? Yes, because they won their first round match. They don't get to pick who they play. They won their first round match and they're there.
I do feel like if we're able to keep that defense honest and develop the run game, it will open up a whole lot of stuff when it comes to the passing. I feel like it will be easy routes to be thrown to, which will ease the pressure off of my boy Gunnar Stockton. And when it comes to the Georgia defense, I feel like all we got to do is stop the run game. Their passing game is not that great. Based off of what I've seen. I've only been looking at highlights and stuff like that. I looked at a couple of games, I'm not gonna lie, a couple of games before I started making this video, and their offense is not that great when it comes to passing, but they do know how to run the ball. So if we find a way to stop them on the run, we'll be all good.